So I just made 3 minutes of a ramble with my headset plugged in, but not on my head. And those 3 minutes were largely preoccupied with how I should be doing other things. Namely, I should be writing the horror story, not rambling into the computer right now. You will note that I have not set this up as a ramble. I have just basically pulled the curtains back so there's slightly more light. That is lighting me in a very spooky fashion, and started talking. All right, welcome to Ripper's Rambles number 58. See, I know the number because I've already done this today. Right, so today, oh man, it's fun re-recording because now nothing is spontaneous. There's a whole thing. So Kirsten suggested a topic, but I'm not totally convinced that's how she pronounces her name. I'm 95% convinced, but it could be Kirsten. I know that it's one or the other. I know that she has said which one it is, but I am the asshole who doesn't remember to that detail level. I remember the conversation, and I just don't really remember any of the conclusions drawn there. So I'm going to go with Kirsten because that's what my brain is telling me, but I could be totally wrong and it could be Kirsten, and she is sitting somewhere right now, being horrified. In which case, I'm so sorry. No, I'm not going to use either one. So I'm just going to continue using Kirsten, and if that is incorrect, well, then this is just a tradition of me mispronouncing people's names in videos. And by the way, it's Even, not Ivan. Okay. Moving right along. Let's talk about parents. Let's talk about parents specifically in New Holiday. New Holiday is kind of, as I'm thinking about it, it's sort of the most parent-child series of mine. I think part of that is because it's a small town, so everyone's kind of interconnected, and that was one of the things I was playing with there. So we could do fun things where, everybody knows everybody else's parents and knows all their relationships. But in another way, math is new to New Holiday, and the great deal of fairy tales is preoccupied with his relationship with his kid. And we get to see his dad a little, which is kind of fun. That was a fun parallel there. In the real life build, which I think is Kirsten's favorite, might be my favorite as well. We have Dylan and Gage, and Gage's sort of parenting experience is, his actual parents who raised him were unsupportive and are basically absent in the text because that's how they were for him in his life. To the extent that they move, they go away, they're no longer in New Holiday. So the person who actually parented him actively is his best friend's dad, Ralph, who hires him at the dugout and then later sells it to him. And Ralph is this great figure to write because, and he's not even on the page that much, but I feel like I really know him well. Because everybody knows Ralph. He's a figure. He's a character in the minds of everyone who walks into the dugout. Everyone who's been coming to the dugout, longer than a couple of days knows who Ralph is. And everyone in New Holiday, understands that Ralph is both a bastard and also the closest thing to an actual parent figure that Gage has really ever had. So that was a lot of fun to play with. Ralph didn't do everything right. He wasn't a particularly good father to his children. He was arguably a better father to Gage. So that was a lot of fun to write and a lot of fun to contrast with Dylan's parenting experience with Tam and Roscoe. Because Tam is just, Tam is basically me, but without the interest I have in appearing normal for my kids' sake. I really do think about that a lot. She's in school now, and I, think that I have to pass as normal so as to ease her way in the world. She is weirdly normal. I don't really understand how that happens. Genetically, it's hard for me to believe that someone so normal has my genes, but she apparently does. So, yes, that definitely is all stuff that was in my head and reflected in Tam's characterization, because Tam is, she does not give a fuck. I mean, there's a level where Tam really is not. She is kind of self-absorbed to the extent where she doesn't notice how her behavior affects Dylan as a child, and as an adult, he can see that a little bit more clearly, and I don't even think he's like resentful about it. I think he's just kind of like, it's kind of screwed up, thanks a lot. But he also always had Roscoe, and Roscoe is clearly the grounding force there. Roscoe is the person Dylan calls when he needs help with his plumbing. Like Roscoe is clearly the reliable one there. But I don't think they work except with each other. I think that's the kind of fun thing about writing families, which we all know I do a lot of, is playing with all the ways that people interact and relate to each other and change in relation to each other. And if you like me playing with families, you will enjoy the book I have eventually coming out with Brainmail Press, which is that. That is all it is. It is all family all the time. All right, I think 7 minutes is long enough for me to ramble in spooky lighting about parents and children, so I will stop now. Right then, thank you so much for listening, and thank you to the Irregulars for entertaining me and providing me with things about which to ramble. Bye.